Welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville here with Tyler Wiemann, about to break down some fantasy baseball for today, this Monday, June 13th. And over the weekend, we got a lot of answers to some questions that have been plaguing us for quite a while that I just want to get to the bottom of. We've been discussing it. So the Angels, as we talked about last week, were in the midst of an epic losing streak, 12 game skid, and they fired their manager.
14 games.
It got to 14.
Yes.
At the time, at 12, they fired Joe Maddon, their manager.
Yes.
Well, turns out, we found out this weekend that he showed up to work with a mohawk. He shaved his head in a mohawk, and that was, meant to spark the Angels, something fun to do to break up the slump, and he was fired. Imagine...
the players never even saw it.
Everybody saw it. And imagine going to work that day, just like shaving your head. A completely ridiculous style, right?
Yeah.
And then just having to wear that on the way out the door.
It is it's like kicking them while he's down.
Like, oh.
I just like seeing a guy at his age with a mohawk.
I mean, gotta hand it to the guy for just trying something new. And
I don't know if you watched Sunday
out,
Night Baseball, though. Trout kind of had a mohawk.
Maybe it was in honor of...
Little fro hockey,
tribute?
little mohawky. Who knows? We also found out who won the Fantasy Football League last year.
Right, the infamous Fantasy Football League that we found out about, in which that sparked the whole dispute between Tommy Pham and Jock Peterson that led to the infamous slap before pregame. Yeah. So... who was the winner of that Fantasy Football League, which Mike Trout was the commissioner of?
Alex Bregman.
Okay.
He won it. Trout also said that there is now a waiting list for his league, and that a bunch of players have been hitting him up trying to join.
I imagine. That was the best publicity there was for that Fantasy Football League.
And after Pham's outburst, they probably all think that the league's easy.
So Alex Bregman won. So that was actually literally a question I've been thinking about the past few weeks.
Bregman won, and Trout said he doesn't want to be commissioner anymore.
He does not. He's
might be looking for a new one.
his duties.
We'll see. It's to be determined.
We'll be happy to take it over for you at LineStar and run it for you guys. I'm just saying we can.
Yes.
We're fair, objective.
Got you.
I would love to hand out penalties and stuff.
Yeah.
No putting that guy on the IR. You're fined. Okay. Let's get to today's slate of baseball games for today. We've got some good ones today. Hey, the Braves have won 11 straight. How about that?
They have.
Let's get to our chalk report for today. And we're first actually going to talk about a Phillies pitcher, Aaron Nola, going up against the Marlins today. He's 42% owned on both sites, 3.50 ERA. 10.25 K per 9. That ranks 9th in baseball. Last time out, 8 scoreless against the Brewers. He's been awesome.
He has been, absolutely. But Miami isn't bad versus righties. They are 5th best in WRC plus and strike out at 22%. But you're right. Nola's been amazing. 3.24 FIP. 29% K rate. And this game is the lowest game total by a decent margin.
Okay.
So I get why everybody's going to and targeting this game.
Okay. But you did say that maybe it's not as good in terms of the Marlins. Actually,
Marlins are actually decent.
Pretty good.
There is some warm weather here as well. So, I could see how the Marlins get to Nola.
All right. So it just depends, I guess, if you're kind of going to try to get some leverage, this might not be the move. Is that where you're headed?
There's other ways to get leverage. Pitching on the slate isn't great. They're outside of, these three options. There's nothing that's really looks outstanding. So you're going to probably have to go to one of these guys. All
right. Well, let's take a look at the next guy. Blue Jays righty Alek Manoah going up against the Orioles today. He's 35% owned on DraftKings, 14% owned on FanDuel. 1.81 ERA. That ranks 3rd in baseball. 213 opponent average. Righties hitting just 128 against him. He ranks 36 in strikeouts, so not as high on that side of things, but he's still been awesome. Last time out, 6 scoreless innings against the Royals. And you're looking at an Orioles team that we know strikes out a lot.
Yeah, they are a little bit better versus righties, but they're still bottom 10. So And they strike out 22.7% versus righties. So definitely not a good offense. You can definitely target them. And Manoah's been great. 3.05 FIP, 22% K rate. That's the one thing where he doesn't have quite the K upside, say, Nola does.
Sure.
And that K rate is down 5% from last year, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have just changed some things to be a better overall pitcher, and he lost some of the K upside. But regardless, he's been good. There's no reason not to go to him. And Baltimore, the BVP versus Manoah, 37 plate attempts. They're hitting 194, 3 home runs off him. And there's a 35% K rate in the BVP data. So Manoah is way outperforming his K rate versus Baltimore so far.
All right. So nice play there. Let's talk about Marlins righty Sandy Alcantara going up against the Phillies today. 32% owned on DraftKings, 9% owned on FanDuel. Now he has the second best ERA in baseball at 1.61, 8.28 K per 9. The Phillies are 10th in strikeout percentage, 10th most or 10th highest strikeout percentage in baseball right now. So kind of a favorable matchup for him. Alcantara's just been awesome this season in general.
He has. He's been amazing at limiting hits, limiting base runners, limiting runs. I mean, and that makes sense. He has a 2.96 FIP, 24% strikeout rate. Now on the other side, Philly can hit the ball. They are 12th in WRC plus versus righties. Strikeout 22%, as you led on to. The one thing that I'd like to bring up, though, is the BVP data. In 136 plate attempts, the Phillies are hitting 276 off of Sandy with 4 home runs and a 181 ISO. So they have hit him decently in the past.
You know who has good numbers also against him? Bryce Harper.
I saw that. There's a couple.
He's got a couple
Phillies,
dingers against him.
I think a couple Phillies that have pretty good numbers versus him. Now, the one thing, though, is that Sandy has gotten way better over the years, and he's having an amazing season now, whereas a lot of that data is from years prior, may not mean quite as much because he has changed a little bit as a pitcher.
Okay, so those are our high-owned guys. Now let's take a look at some lower-owned pitchers. Maybe we can find some leverage here. Padres righty, Yu Darvish, going up against the Cubs today. Only 5% owned on DraftKings and 2% owned on FanDuel. 3.61 ERA. Last game, 7 scoreless innings. Just 2 hits against the Mets. 6 strikeouts. Hey, the Mets are a good hitting team, so that's a good showing. Yeah,
Darvish has really came around the last few starts. He's pitching way better. 3.19 FIP over his last 5. The one thing, though, is his K rate on the year is 20%. And for his career, he's been more like a 30% K rate guy. So maybe some of his struggles throughout the year is because of this, just the lower K rate. It's probably why he's so cheap on DraftKings. But all in all, he looks great. Cubs are average versus righties. They do strike out a lot, too, at 23%. So I think there is some upside here. And if you can see that closer to 30% K rate Darvish, then this is a spectacular matchup at low ownership.
I wonder if Joe Serralo had a front row seat to that Yu Darvish performance against his Mets, or if he was at that game. Shout out to Joey C with at every single game. I feel like on the West Coast.
He's been to so many Mets
games. The Angels games. He's been
Dodgers,
he's basically
Angels,
followed the Mets, right?
Yeah, he did the SoCal tour.
The SoCal tour.
Yeah,
love to see it.
Yeah, I think he missed that one. I think the one that he saw down here, the Padres got blown up, I think.
Okay, so he got a...
Yeah.
All right. We should have put a wager down on that between you guys. Next time,
yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Giants lefty Alex Wood going up against the Royals today. About 19% owned on DraftKings. And Alex Wood had a good outing last time. 4.23 ERA. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in his last 2 starts. He held the Rockies to just 1 run last time out. And the Rockies are a good team. Yeah, they have the Coors effect, so their numbers are a little bit higher, but they still are a really good hitting team. So the fact that he held them to 1 run is really good.
Yeah, and he's been good. I mean, 3.25 FIP on the season, 2.63 over the last 5. The one thing, and he has a 23% K rate, but the one thing is they're going against the Royals, who really don't strike out much. It's only like just below 18% strikeout rate. So the ceiling may not be there for him today.
Yeah.
But he should limit runs. They are a bottom 10 offense versus lefties. I like the play. Not a huge ceiling, but I think the floor should be pretty solid.
Nice, yeah. A little pitcher-friendly venue there as well.
That as well, yeah.
Next up, Astros righty Christian Javier going up against the Rangers today. 14% owned on DraftKings. He's got a 3.22 ERA, 2.15 opponent average. Good numbers there, but got a little banged up last time out against the Mariners. 5 earned runs on 6 hits, including a home run. What do you expect from him today against the Rangers?
Yeah, so Javier has elite stuff. He has great strikeout stuff, a 30% K rate there. But he has some control issues, and Houston has a really short leash on him. They do try and pull him a little early. If he can make it later in the game, he has as much upside as everybody on the slate. As maybe more upside than even Nola. Texas, 23rd in WRC plus, strikeout almost 24%. So it's really an upside play here. It is a risky one, but it could get you different with, a pretty high ceiling. Low floor, though. Nice. Exact opposite as well.
On FanDuel, you are taking a look at White Sox righty Lance Lynn, who's making his return from the IL, working his way back from a knee injury. So interesting play here.
Yeah, he's just way too cheap for like the caliber of pitcher that he is. Right. At 5,500, you have to take a look. Now, there's a couple things. Like you said, the debut is today, first time he started in the season. He's also had 3 minors league appearances where he has not been good. It's like a 1.7 whip, an ERA of 9 in the minors, which obviously isn't good. But he did make it to 79 pitches last outing, so he will be almost fully stretched out. Okay. But this is a guy that has a career 3.59 FIP and strikes out like 1 batter an inning. So there is absolutely upside at 5,500 if he can find his stuff.
Nice. All right, so those are your pitchers for today that we're looking at. Let's take a look now at some of our stacks for today and talk first about our high-owned stacks for today. First, we're looking at the Braves going up against Nationals righty Josiah Gray. He's got a 4.33 ERA, 2.30 opponent average. Much worse at home, though. 2.81 opponent average, 7.14 ERA at home. Lefties are getting to him 996 OPS. This is definitely one you can see why people are stacking Braves, especially since they're on an 11-game win streak, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, it makes sense. Braves are hot. Gray is kind of a boom bust. He has really good stuff, strikes out a lot of guys, but allows a lot of home runs. Also, weather is warm. It's like almost 90 degrees in Washington, so ball's going to fly a little bit easier. Yeah. So all those things together makes it sense, but it is kind of a boom bust play. Gray, when he's good, is really good. Can limit runs, strike out a lot of guys. We know the Braves strike out. So I could see you fading or playing this. I mean, my home run call is a Brave, so I do think the Braves get to him. But there's also a lot of reasons where you can fade them. Yeah,
I mean, if that would be a great leverage play if you kind of faded them and then it didn't turn out that Josiah got crushed and you're like cashing in on that one.
Totally.
So, all right, let's take a look at the Cardinals going up against Pirates righty Mitch Keller. He's got a 5.26 ERA, 2.65 opponent average. And yeah, he's only made it to 6 innings twice. And when you're looking at the Pittsburgh bullpen, they're kind of middle of the pack. So I see why people are in on the Cards.
Yeah, I do too. Keller's an okay pitcher. He's a fine pitcher. Like mid-4s FIP, allows 1.1 home run per 9. Does let some people on base, like 4 walks per inning or so. He's a decent pitcher, pretty average. St. Louis has been hot. They are much better versus lefties, though. And, I mean, I get it. I could go either way with that one.
Okay. Let's take a look at some low-owned plays here. We're going Blue Jays going up against Orioles. Kyle Bradish, 6.45 ERA, 3.01 opponent average. Righties are crushing him. 3.58 average, 7.16 slugging, 11.58 OPS. So when you're looking at the Blue Jays lineup, yeah, they got a lot of good righties.
I'm going to make this one really easy for us. Kyle Bradish is on the bump. Bradish is bad. Toronto is good. And that's all you got to need.
All you need to know.
They're not going to be low owned. They're probably going to be like third, fourth highest owned team to stack. But you got to like Toronto.
Totally. Yeah. All right. White Sox going up against the Tigers righty, Ronnie Garcia. 4.50 ERA for him. 2.04 opponent average. Not a bad pitcher by any means. What do you like about this play with the White Sox?
Yeah, Garcia has some signs that he may not be a very good pitcher. Allowing 1.6 home runs per 9 this year, but on his career, he's a 2.2 home run per 9 guy. Allowing 45% hard contact rate and 95 mile an hour average exit velocity. So it's a very high average exit velocity. Yeah. He's just allowing a lot of people to put barrel on the ball. So the White Sox are also cheap. Garcia has reverse splits and is worse for righties. The Chicago White Sox have a ton of righties. So there's a lot of things to like here, and they're going to be pretty much unowned.
Yeah.
So.
You're seeing right through that camouflage stats right there. That's can't get it past you. All right, so some great plays there. Anyone else you're looking at for today?
Yeah, there's a lot of different stacks I like. Minnesota, Houston, Seattle, San Diego. I like the Padres.
Nice. I love when you get so excited when you get to say that.
I know. Well, they're good. They're good this year. There you go. Also, as like a leverage stack play, I don't mind going to Philly. As you talked about, Bryce has hit Sandy really hard. There's a few other guys that have. So I could see that playing out.
Sure.
Again, I wouldn't go all in on it, but, having a little bit isn't that bad.
Yeah. All right. It's all about balance. You know
it is.
All right. So for more analytics statistics to help you optimize your lineup, check out LineStarApp.com. And now it is time for our home run calls. Just a reminder, you can go to Prize Picks and all the stuff we're about to talk about with our home run calls and prop bets. You can actually put some money down on it, play in some of these contests and check it out. So we'll drop a link to that below. Just go right there and you can get some money back on your deposit. Let's go to our home run calls for today. Who you got?
I'm going with Matt Olson.
Okay.
With Atlanta Braves against Gray. Super warm weather, almost 90 degrees in Washington. Gray's giving up 2 home runs per 9. But 10 of his 14 home runs have came at home. He has also given up 8 of his 14 home runs to lefties. Lefties are crushing him, slugging over 600 versus Gray. And Matt Olson steps in as a lefty. He's going yard today.
I co-signed on that one. I 100% agree with that. In fact, before the show, I have my list of guys that I kind of write down as I'm going through them. And that was on my list, so I agree with you there. I'm going Blue Jays George Springer, who's going up against Orioles rookie Kyle Bradish at the Rogers Center. And yeah, he's given up at least 1 home run in each of his 8 starts this year. Bradish giving up a .716 slugging percentage to righty bats. Springer has 10 home runs this season versus righties. Yeah, we got a Springer dinger today. I'm calling it. Also, some of the props for Springer today, but definitely get that home run call in there. Now, prop bets. Where are you headed for prop bet?
You just mentioned you like some Springer prop bets, huh?
Well, I like a Springer dinger, but I also like some Springer props too. So
I am going George Springer. Nice. Over 1.5 bases at plus 100. Kyle Bradish has reverse splits. Righties have an opponent average of 358 against him and slugging 716. Meanwhile, Springer has a 384 WOBA and 284 ISO. I think he's going to hit 1.5 with ease.
Nice. I'm going Jose Altuve over 1.5 bases, minus 110. He's going up against Rangers lefty Taylor Hearn, who's giving up a 296 average to right-handed bats, and Altuve crushing lefties at a 927 OPS kind of clip. He has hit this mark in 5 of his last 7 games. So loving the Altuve play today. And I also, now that you mentioned that Matt Olson one, we'll give you a little bonus here. You talked about Olsen for a home run. So if he hits that, why not take the over 1.5 bases prop? That's at plus 120. Now, this is the example of the Braves lefty bat going up against the righty Josiah Gray. Lefty's batting 256 against Gray with a 996 OPS. Olsen does better against righties. 865 OPS for him. Now, he's only hit that in 3 of 11. But you just talked about how he might hit a home run. So why not? I say go for it. Those are my prop bets for today. But really liking that Jose Altuve play today. Just a few notes on weather for you. Braves at Nationals, chance of pop-up storms. I feel like that's been kind of the theme the past few weeks. White Sox at Tigers, nasty storm coming in, but looking like it won't arrive until after the game. So this one should be okay as of now, but double check. And Pirates at Cardinals, there's a chance of rain. Just keep an eye on that one as well. So, you going to go get a mohawk today?
I do need a haircut.
Try to, but we're not in a slump on the On Deck podcast.
Nope.
We don't have those problems here.
No slumping.
All right. Good luck to you if you're playing today. And as always, for more analytics statistics, check out LineStarApp.com. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment on our show. What do you like to see? Who are you playing today? We want to hear it. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.